Hi, second grade. Mrs. Shook again. We're on Unit 2, Lesson 8 for our Grade 2 skills. Our learning goals for today: use the sound spellings of oi that are spelled O-I and O-Y, and then read and write words with oi and ow and oo, as well as the I-E, magic E. I can complete the 3-step writing process by using an editing checklist to edit the draft of the retelling of the milk. So we already did the first 2 steps. Today will be step 3. Okay, first we have O-I, oi. Say with me, oi. Like oil, boil, oink, coin, foil, soil, ointment, and spoiled. Those are all words that have the oi sound spelled O-I. Here's a sound card. This is a more common spelling for oi. Here's the example word oil. And the other spelling, O-Y, oi, are example words: toy, boy, joy, soy, cowboy, enjoy, soybean, and employed. Here's our sound card: O-Y, oi, for like the example word toy. And here are 2 spellings for the oi sound, O-I and O-Y. Make sure you update your individual code chart if you haven't. Okay, now we're going to do some word chaining. Starting with the word oil, we're going to add and take away and change letters to make new words. So read them with me. First we have oil, boil, coil, coin, join, joint, point, and our new list, this word is it. Change it to out, for O-U, ow sound, pout, like bout, boot, root, room, groom, grim. Adding the magic E, we get grime. And that's our last word. Okay, now we're going to move on to a writing portion again. So once again, we completed our planning with the graphic organizer for the milk. We yesterday as a class did a practice draft, and you guys completed your own draft. And today we're on the final step of edit. So here is our graphic organizer all filled out, which you should still have the draft we completed yesterday. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Jane who lived on a farm. And I went on to tell the story of what happened. Finally, she became angry because she spilled her milk. That day, she learned a lesson. So this is my draft. You should have a copy of your own draft handy. Today, we're going to talk about editing. So here we have Mr. Mouse. You see how we spelled his name O-W instead of O-U, Mr. Mouse. He decided to write his own draft. However, Mr. Mouse needs a little help with editing. So our job today for the lesson is going to be to help him edit his story as a practice for you to edit your own. So first you're going to need page 8.1 of the editing checklist. Just ask yourself these questions as you edit your draft. So going through everything. 1, do I have a title? How have I described the setting at the start? Have I named and described the characters? Do I have a plot with a beginning, middle, and end? Do all of my sentences start with an uppercase letter? Do all of my sentences have a final mark? So punctuation at the end, a period, exclamation point, or a question mark? Have I spelled all of my words correctly? And then number 8, have I added sense words that describe how things look, feel, taste, sound, or smell? So giving some more detail. Okay, so keep this checklist handy. You'll need it for the lesson to make sure we correct Mr. Mouse's paper well, and you'll need it to correct your own. Okay, so here is a copy of his, and if you look, you can probably already see some spelling and punctuation issues. He's missing quite a bit. So let's see how this goes. Okay, first of all, the title, The Milk. I'm just going to read it through the first time, and then we'll work on correcting. The title, The Milk. There was a lass named Jane. She took a bucket of milk to sell. Jane fell down. She wanted to buy a dress. She wanted to get a pig. Jane was sad. The end. Okay, so looking at our editing checklist, number 1, do I have a title? He did include a title, The Milk, so that's good. Have I described the setting at the start? There was a lass named Jane. She had a bucket of milk to sell. Nothing about the setting, so we need to fix that. Have I named and described the character? We did name Jane. He did name Jane, so we have that. Kind of described her. She wanted to sell some milk. Didn't mention that she had plans, though. Do I have a plot with a beginning, middle, and end? So we described the plot. She had the bucket of milk. She fell down. She wanted to buy the dress and get a pig. She was sad. So there's plot points, but if you notice, they're not in the right order. So that's something we're going to need to fix. Do all of my sentences start with uppercase letters? No, not at all. And the next one is, do they have a final mark? There's also 0 punctuation, so we'll have to fix that in our editing. Have I spelled my words correctly? We already know. Definitely not. And have we added words to describe how things look, feel, sound, etc.? No. Okay. So we have a lot of work to do. All right. So let's start at the top. The Milk. It's our title, so it should have capital letters. Milk is capitalized, but the word the is not. So he should capitalize the word the. There, this is the very first sentence of a word. There was a lass named Jane. There needs to have a capital T. It's the first letter of a word, and it's also spelled incorrectly. T-H-E-R-E is there. Was, W-A-S. Lass has 2 S's, and named, he forgot the E. Jane is a name, which means it should be capitalized. And that sentence is complete, so at the end we need a period. There was a lass named Jane. So we're going to go through each sentence and just correct it in the exact same way. There was a lass named Jane, period. She took a bucket of milk to sell. And then rearranging the sentences to be in the right order, we'll get, she wanted to use the money to buy a hen and sell its eggs to buy a pig. She wanted to sell the pig to buy herself a dress. So that rearranges what he had from selling the milk and the dress and the pig. But Jane fell down and spilled her milk. Okay, and that puts that in the right place. The end. So Mr. Mouse's story is very short, but once you put it in the right order, we check the spelling and the punctuation, it's definitely improved. Okay, so that's our practice for the editing portion. You're going to do the same thing with yours using the editing checklist. Go through each of the 8 steps. Once it's complete, you'll check it off, mark it off, and you'll have your final or your revised copy. Okay, great work today. Make sure you complete all of your work, hold on to all of the copies of your story, and complete all of your assignments. See you next time.